Skyrim is an incredibly broken video game. Like a lot of Bethesda games, its open world and plethora of glitches make it a speedrunner's playground. But for many years, the speedrunner Waz had a streak of dominance, culminating on January 24th, 2020, when he beat Skyrim's main quest in 22 minutes and 58 seconds. Not only was this the world record, but it was ahead of second by a mile. No one could beat it. Many years passed, and the record remained uncontested. That is, until the summer of 2024, when a new discovery changed everything. A glitch discovery that not only ended Waz's long reign, but kickstarted a Skyrim speedrunning renaissance. Welcome to the era of dead loading. Our story begins in April 2021, when a glitch hunter named Sicklif was messing around with the Fortify health effect. He used console commands to manually set his base health to 0 while wearing a piece of armor with a Fortify health effect, which increases your maximum health. When he tried loading a save, he got a glitched loading screen. The game loaded in much faster than usual, and he was able to move his character right away. Normally, the game does a fade-in when you load a save. As it turned out, loading the other save removed the Fortify effect, meaning that while Sicklif had base 0 HP, the game behaved as if he died during the load. This caused a glitch that canceled the long fade-in when loading the save, hence the name dead loading. It was a strange glitch, but admittedly not initially the most useful one. That is, until a week later, when Sicklif revisited dead loading. This time, it became apparent that dead loading had much more to offer than he originally thought. It turned out that performing a dead load when an interaction button prompt is on screen would allow you to buffer the interaction by pressing the button during the loading screen, so you can activate the object in another save. Storing interactions via dead loading allowed for some handy glitches, including item duplication and remote activation. These glitches were neat, but unfortunately had restricted functionality, requiring the two saves used for the dead load to be in the same cell or room on the map. However, there was one significant exception: doors. Contrary to other objects in the game, your other save has to be in a different cell than a door to remotely activate it with dead loading. Aside from that restriction, you could do it from anywhere, and could be used to activate a very powerful trick: load warping. Load warps are a glitch that are staples of Oblivion, Skyrim, and Fallout 4 speedruns. Originally discovered in 2016 by Bubbles Del Fuego, load warps allow you to transfer a loading zone interaction from a hard save into another save, effectively warping that secondary save's character through that load zone from the hard save, no matter where you are on the map. However, its use in Skyrim was quite limited compared to Oblivion. In Skyrim, you could perform the warp by loading the save on the same frame you hit an open loading zone that you can walk into. This method has been used in speedruns to skip the entirety of Helgen Keep after unbinding your character as far back as 2016. But unlike Oblivion, where doors could be used to load warp quite easily, this was the only known method to load warp in Skyrim. As such, load warps were not a glitch easily applicable in Skyrim, since these open loading zones are just cave entrances, which are far less common than doors. With dead loading, however, you could now use it to store the prompt to open the door anywhere on the other save. Wow, what a find. With this new discovery, Skyrim speedrunning was about to enter a completely new era. Except, there was a bit of a problem. The setup was too slow. You see, the proposed way to get the Ravage health status was to craft and duplicate potions. It's a lengthy process that requires gathering the necessary materials and a lot of menuing. Quite a time sink, especially when the run already has incredibly fast movement glitches that require far less setup time, such as the infamous horse tilt, a glitch that allows you to zip across the map after dismounting a horse standing on an incredibly steep surface. A variation of horse tilting, known as ghost tilting, was the last major any % time save discovered up to this point, where by making quick saves when going to interact with a crafting station, such as this tanning rack in Dawnstar, you can get your character stuck standing in front of the rack. Loading this glitched quick save from a horse tilt allows you to get the horse tilt hyperspeed, where you have the ability to run through all collision at a locked height. Ghost tilting was notably used to clip under the Thalmor Embassy early, quick save quick load to upwarp above ground, and read a book inside that progresses the questline all the way from the second quest, Before the Storm, all the way to Diplomatic Immunity, effectively skipping half the main quest. Now, this massive sequence break wasn't anything new. It's basically been used since the beginning of Skyrim speedrunning. Point is, main quest speedrun routes all boil down to getting unbound, skipping Helgen Keep, horse tilting to discover several useful fast travel locations for later, reading the book in Thalmor Embassy, and then using whatever methods to complete the remaining main quests before defeating Alduin once and for all. The route used in Waz's record was bound by these conditions, and within these conditions, dead loading was not useful, and so dead loading would remain as a novelty glitch for several years. But as you already know from the start of this video, dead loading was not useless forever. As is the case with a lot of seemingly useless glitch discoveries, sometimes all you need is a fresh pair of eyes to solve the problem once and for all. And in 2024, a top Skyrim runner would take it upon himself to pick up where Sicklif left off. But first, balancing a budget ain't easy, and occasionally some things will slip through the cracks. Like how I was being charged every single month for DoorDash. A shocker, a service I don't use that much outside of when I'm at GDQ for a week. Well, today's sponsor, Rocket Money, is here to help. Rocket Money is the personal finance app that helps you cancel subscription, lower bills, and manage your money better. Rocket Money has helped me safely and securely identify recurrent charges and cancel any unwanted subscriptions. With just a couple taps in the app, I won't need to spend a minute on those annoying customer service calls. But that's not all. Rocket Money can help you craft a budget tailored to your lifestyle and notify you when you've exceeded your spending limits. Rocket Money has helped save its customers up to $740 a year when they use all the app's premium features, with over $500 million in canceled subscriptions. To save more and spend less, join the over 5 million members using Rocket Money today. Go to rocketmoney.com/lunaticj or click the link in the description below to get started for free. You can also unlock even more features with Premium. That's rocketmoney.com/lunaticj to get started for free. Pekkanen, formerly Nuclear, is a Skyrim speedrunner mostly known for his records in the glitchless main quest speedruns, but this past summer, he became more active in glitched categories, and looked into applying dead loading to longer categories, like all guilds, where it'd be useful despite the long setup time. This led him to not only try and find a method to maintain the dead loading state throughout an entire run, but also to wonder, why is Ravage health necessary? Why do I need to have Ravage health with the Fortify health effect for dead loading instead of regular damage with Fortify health? Well, remember when I mentioned earlier when Sicklif originally found dead loading that he set his max HP to 0? Well, Pekkanen took a closer look at the Fortify health part of the trick, and realized that when you get Fortify from a potion in most enchantments, and either let it wear off or end it during a load, your character's HP will be set to 1 by default, even if you took enough damage for your character to fall below 0 HP when the effect ends. The exception to this rule seemed to only apply when your base max HP is 0 from Ravage. But what if there was another way? What if you can get a Fortify effect that didn't set your HP to a minimum of 1, and actually let it drop to 0? If such a method existed, it would eliminate the need to craft Ravage health potions, which was the main reason why dead loading was too slow for speedruns. Well, as it turned out, the answer was hiding in plain sight. The Blessing of Arche. In most of Skyrim's cities, there is a Shrine of Arche. Interacting with one of these shrines blesses you with an extra 25 HP, which expires after 10 in-game days, or when you load another save. And on June 29th, 2024, Pekkanen realized a special quirk with this blessing. Unlike with Fortify effects when the blessing expires once you're below 25 HP, the game doesn't set your health to a minimum of 1. You straight up die. No Ravage required. This was the missing piece of the puzzle to make dead loading viable. Finally! A setup that was very quick and only required the shrine and fall damage. With this, load warping setups could be done nearly everywhere, and the Skyrim speedrunning scene was about to undergo a revolution. Dead loads are so versatile that they immediately save time in nearly every speedrun category. Main quest any percent, companions, Dawnguard, Dark Brotherhood, kill all Jarls, you name it. The big benefit of dead warping in particular is a faster way to escape interiors where you can't fast travel out of, including Mzark after obtaining the Elder Scroll, and the Ratway after meeting Esbern. But by far the biggest time save from dead loading is entering High Hrothgar. In the main quest speedrun, you need to enter Hrothgar 3 times in order to progress the quest line. However, since you skip the main quest, The Way of the Voice, when you perform the Thalmor sequence break, the gate to High Hrothgar won't open, requiring you to clip out of bounds using buckets each visit. However, by setting up a dead load at the back entrance of High Hrothgar, you not only skip needing to clip out of bounds with buckets each time, but you now have a load warp straight to that door. Immediately, these dead loads saved more than 40 seconds over Waz's main quest route, and dead loads in general saved a lot more time in other categories. For the first time in years, it felt like Waz was actually beatable. Despite the gap closing on his long-standing record, Waz still had a considerable lead over his competition, even with dead loading. Waz himself had been inactive from the speedrunning scene for the last year, and this new time save could have motivated him to return to Skyrim and strengthen his increasingly vulnerable record. Or maybe someone new would come to end Waz's dominion once and for all. Coincidentally, at the beginning of the summer, just before Pekkanen's Shrine of Arkay breakthrough, a new runner, DankSlushie, would begin speedrunning Skyrim. DankSlushie was already an experienced speedrunner at this point, having world records in Black Ops 2 Zombies and high-level times in SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom. Almost immediately, he quickly ascended up the leaderboard with his eyes on the prize. With a serious grinder along with the dead-loading revolution, Waz's days on top were numbered. A couple months of grinding later, and the Mad Lad actually did it. 2253, the longest standing main quest record finally broken after 4.5 years. Huge congrats to Slushie for his hard work paying off, and shoutouts to Sicklift and Pekkanen for discovering deadloading, as without their intuition and creativity, Waz may have never been Wait, the record was beaten without deadloading? Whoa. So, if Slushie beat Waz without deadloads, what kind of monster would DankSlushie be with them? Well, in a new route created by Pekkanen, you'd get the Fortify blessing from the Shrine of Arkay near Windhelm, as well as implementing a new tilt variation, the Forge Tilt. By using the Blacksmith Forge in Riverwood, you can get in a state similar to Ghost Tilting, except now you have the ability to quickly cancel the tilt by pressing the Interact key to upwarp to solid ground. Slushie used this as his method of reaching High Hrothgar without buckets, and took the opportunity to set up the dead load there. By using this Forge Tilt and skipping Dawnstar, DankSlushie continued to lower his record multiple times over the next month, culminating in a 21-12 set on September 12th. After setting 8 world records in a row, you might be under the impression that DankSlushie is now the new unbeatable king of Skyrim speedruns, when in reality, it's quite the contrary. Now, instead of Waz running a one-man show, there are now 3 players duking it out for the main quest record: Slushie, Lithium L, and Pekkanen. And on November 12th, 2024, there was a new champion on top. Lithium L, the long-standing glitchless main quest world record holder, beat Slushie's time by half a second, with a 21:12.2. While he's mostly known for his dominance in glitchless, it's nice to see him compete in the main glitch category as well. While both Slushie and Lithium have mainly stuck to using a basic dead warping route primarily centered around Hrothgar, Pekkanen has been in the lab running on a complete monster of a route with multiple dead load locations. You could say the mother of all dead warp setups. Why stop at just Hrothgar? What if you could perform a Forge Tilt when you have the Blessing of Arkay and less than 25 HP, and then, as you zoom across the map from the tilt, you make several hard saves in many locations? Well, that's what Pekkanen did. After making a shocking discovery that you could perform forge tilts at specific non-forge crafting areas, such as this tanning rack at the docks in Windhelm, Pekkanen started doing runs using a route that forge tilts off of this tanning rack, and while traveling at Mach speed, precisely make hard saves under Hrothgar, Mzark, Thalmor Embassy, Dragon's Reach, and Riverwood, all in one tilt. This is a pretty difficult trick, but can save around 30 seconds overall from making more dead warp locations and cutting down the number of tilts used. In this type of forge tilt, you're in a race against your own health regeneration. You have to begin by taking precise fall damage until you're as low health as possible, and then you have to set up and execute all your load warps before you regenerate over 25 HP. Since you begin with 100 HP, you get a 25 HP bonus from the Blessing of Arche, and you regenerate 0.7% of your maximum health per second. Then, even if you get the right amount of fall damage to get down below 1 HP, you only have about 27 seconds to execute the Forge Tilt, and then set up and execute all of your load warps. Luckily, the tanning rack at the Windhelm docks comes with a perfect source of fall damage, a platform to jump that does over 123 damage, putting you at a little under 2 HP. As of the making of this video, Pekkanen is 42 seconds away from Lithium's record, and if he can cleanly pull off this wild strat, the record will inevitably be his. While I've been mostly talking about how dead loading serves as an incredibly flexible method of load warping, it can be taken a step further. Dead loading can even be used to sequence break the game, as seen in a new strat known as Reverse Sovngarde. After Sicklif originally discovered dead loading, he used it to complete the challenge of beating Skyrim with 0 shouts. When you get to the Hall of Valor, if you use dead loading to load warp with a save that you made after the first Alduin fight, but before you first entered Skulldefen, it allows you to begin the final quest of the game, Dragon Slayer, before you begin the second last quest of the game, Sovngarde. By beginning these quests in reverse order, you break Alduin's scripting, which causes him to be vulnerable to your attacks when he's supposed to be invulnerable, and you could kill him and finish the game without going through the long cutscene where you use Clear Skies. However, there was a major drawback. The reason runners were able to defeat Alduin easily was thanks to the help of the heroes of Sovngarde, as they're around level 30 while your character is still level 1. Skipping Clear Skies is now possible in any percent thanks to dead loading, saving about 30 seconds. However, the fight is much harder alone, and without any allies, you lose about 20 to 25 seconds fighting him solo, if you survive. Because the overall time save was so small and so difficult, Reverse Sovngarde isn't seen as worth it. At least, for now. Just when you think Skyrim couldn't be broken any further, a glitch revolution with the advent of dead loading has taken the speedrun community by storm, reigniting top-level competition once again. Skyrim speedrunning is experiencing a renaissance, and if you want to stick around and learn more, tune into the upcoming AGDQ 2025 in January, where Pekkanen will be performing a Skyrim main quest run live. Speaking of, special thanks to Pekkanen for bringing this topic to my attention, and for his and Sicklif's help on this video. Go give them a follow. Thank you so much for watching, and remember to shoot for the moon.